One send button, one very small tick, one very large career crisis.
Okay, wait, I genuinely thought I was helping, that's the thing.
I am still not over it, proper not over it, not even a little bit.
Inspired by the kind of story you'd find on Reddit, studies suggest that nearly 1 in 3 office workers has accidentally sent a message to exactly the wrong person. 1 in 3, that is 33% of the workforce, quietly sitting at their desks, pretending nothing happened.
1 in 3, like that is honestly so many people just living with that regret. Sitting there going, yep, that's fine, everything's fine, I'll just never make eye contact again.
Right, and I am now one of those people, officially, thanks to Jake, proper want the ground to swallow me whole.
Today's story begins on a perfectly ordinary Tuesday morning at a mid-sized marketing company. Sophie has worked there for 2 years. She is, by all accounts, professional, reliable, and up until this particular Tuesday, completely under the radar. Jake, her colleague, and I use this word loosely, her friend, is about to change all of that.
Okay, look, in my defense, I genuinely thought I was being helpful. Like, that's the thing. My intentions were good. I want that on the record.
Your intentions were dead chaotic, Jake. Dead chaotic.
Set the scene for us, Jake. What was the situation?
Okay, so Sophie and I, we've been having lunch together, right? And she's venting, like properly venting about our manager. And I'm like, okay, yeah, totally valid, get it all out. And she goes, and Sophie, correct me if I get this wrong, she goes, I just need to write this all down somewhere, I need to get it out of my system. And I go, and this is where, honestly, I accept partial responsibility.
Partial.
I go, just draft it in the office chat, you don't have to send it, it'll make you feel better. And like, that is solid advice. That is emotionally intelligent advice.
It is not solid advice when the office chat auto-suggests your manager's name the second you type the first 2 letters of it. I typed Ma, just Ma, meaning to write maybe I should quit. And it filled in his name and I hit enter without thinking, and oh, I cannot even say it.
She can say it, she just doesn't want to. What Sophie had typed, in full, before hitting send directly to her manager Marcus, was, and I quote, Marcus has the social awareness of a moldy sandwich, and I'm frankly amazed he's managed to hold a conversation without someone walking out. End quote.
I mean, and I'm not saying she's wrong.
Jake.
I'm just saying as a piece of writing it's vivid, it's descriptive. Like moldy sandwich is a choice, a bold choice.
I was mortified, proper mortified. Like I sat there for about 4 seconds just staring at the screen thinking maybe he won't see it. Maybe his notifications are off. Maybe he's away from his desk.
He was not away from his desk. Marcus, Sophie's manager, had in fact just sat back down with his coffee. He saw the message within 30 seconds. Sophie knew this because the little scene tick appeared. There it was, that small, devastating tick. A tiny symbol of total professional catastrophe.
Okay, but here's the thing, right? This is where I tried to help. Again, because I'm a helper. That's who I am as a person.
Oh no, don't tell them what you did next.
So look, I thought maybe if someone else sent something in the chat right after, it would kind of bury her message, like maybe he'd scroll past it, get distracted.
He sent a gif of a cat looking confused into the chat, directly after my message. Just a confused cat staring into the camera.
I panicked, I opened my GIF keyboard and it was the first thing that came up. I thought it might lighten the mood.
It did not lighten the mood. What it did do was prompt Marcus to respond to the chat for the first time that day. He sent back a single message. It read, Sophie, could you pop over for a quick catch-up? Now, for our learners, a catch-up in British office culture is one of those wonderfully vague phrases that can mean anything from let's have a friendly chat to we need to discuss something serious. In this case, Sophie was fairly confident it was the latter.
A catch-up, he called it a catch-up. And I had to walk across the entire open-plan office, past like 12 people, to get to his desk, knowing full well that he'd just read that message. And I had to maintain some kind of composure. I had to act like a normal person.
She did not look like a normal person. I watched her walk over and she had this expression like, you know when someone's trying really hard to look calm, but every single muscle in their face is doing something different.
I was trying to look approachable, like non-threatening. I was trying to come across as someone who definitely did not just compare their manager to a moldy sandwich.
To come across as something means to give a particular impression to others, to seem a certain way without necessarily saying it directly. Sophie, in this moment, was desperately trying to come across as someone completely unbothered. She was not succeeding. She arrived at Marcus's desk, and they began what is known in office life as small talk, that light, surface-level conversation you have before getting to the real point. The weather, the coffee machine being broken again, normal things.
I brought up the coffee machine. I don't even drink coffee. I was just small talk, right? You know when you're bricking it and you just start talking about anything, just to delay the awkward bit.
Small talk is honestly such a lifesaver in awkward situations. Like, you can buy yourself a solid 45 seconds with the weather alone. Maybe a full minute if it's been unusual weather.
Marcus, to his credit, let the small talk run for a bit. And then he said, "And Sophie, you've told me this almost word for word. What did he say?"
He said, "So, moldy sandwich," just like that, deadpan, no intro, "So, moldy sandwich." And I wanted to be upfront. Like I knew there was no way out of it, there was no way to save face at that point, so I just said, "I'm so sorry, that was completely unprofessional and it wasn't meant for you." Which was, it wasn't fully true, it was definitely meant to exist, just not for his eyes.
To save face? Oh, that's such a good phrase. Can we explain that one? Like, saving face means trying to protect your reputation or dignity in an embarrassing situation, right? Like you're trying to make sure people still respect you even though something went wrong. And Sophie, in that moment, had basically no face left to save.
None, zero face. My face was fully gone.
Being upfront, as Sophie mentioned, means being honest and direct, not hiding what really happened or what you really think. It takes a certain courage, especially when you have just sent your manager a message comparing him to decomposing bread. Sophie chose to be upfront, and something rather unexpected happened next.
He laughed, he actually laughed. And then, and this is the bit that killed me, he said, "I'm aware I can be a bit much in meetings. I've been trying to work on it." And I didn't know where to look. Like I expected to get a formal warning, not vulnerability. I wasn't prepared for that.
Wait, so he was like self-aware about it? That is honestly the twist I did not see coming. I feel like I need a moment.
And then he said, and I nearly passed out, he said, "Honestly, it takes guts to have that kind of opinion. Maybe we should talk more often." And I was just standing there thinking, am I being pranked? Is this a thing that is actually happening?
It was a thing that was actually happening. What had begun as a catastrophic breach of office etiquette, that's the unwritten set of rules about how you behave professionally, had somehow turned into a genuine moment of connection. Etiquette, by the way, is one of those words that sounds very formal, but it just means the expected standards of behavior in a particular social setting. The office has its own etiquette, and Sophie had spectacularly broken it.
I'd absolutely broken it. And yet somehow it led to Marcus and me having a proper conversation for the first time in 2 years. Like a real one. Not just, "Can you have those slides ready by 3, but an actual conversation.
Which is, and I will take some credit for this, which is what happens when you break the ice. Like, sometimes the most embarrassing thing is actually the thing that breaks the ice. And break the ice means when you do or say something that removes the awkwardness and helps people start talking more naturally. Usually it's a joke or a game or something. Sometimes it's accidentally insulting your boss in a company chat.
That is not what breaking the ice is meant to mean, Jake.
And yet here we are.
The story doesn't end there, however, because while Sophie was having her unexpectedly wholesome catch-up with Marcus, Jake, back at his desk, had been doing something. Jake, what were you doing?
Okay, so look, I felt responsible, which I was partially. So I was trying to think of ways to smooth things over. And I thought, what if I sent Marcus a message from my own account being like really warm and complimentary? Like just sort of balance out the energy.
He sent Marcus a message saying, "Just want to say you're doing a great job leading the team, really appreciate your communication style." Communication style, those exact words, after I had just said he had the social awareness of a moldy sandwich.
It seemed helpful in the moment.
Marcus showed me the message while I was still standing at his desk. He goes, "Your colleague Jake has just told me I have a great communication style." And I had to stand there and keep a straight face. I cannot tell you how hard that was.
Keeping a straight face, maintaining a serious expression when you desperately want to laugh or react, is perhaps one of the great unsung social skills. Sophie kept her straight face, just barely.
In my defense, I was trying to be tactful. Tactful means you're careful about what you say so you don't upset or embarrass anyone. I was attempting tact. It didn't land the way I planned.
You were dead not tactful, Jake. Tactful would have been saying nout, saying absolutely nout.
Being tactful, choosing your words carefully to avoid causing offense, is, yes, generally considered to involve saying something rather than nothing. But in this case, Sophie's point stands. The tactful move was silence. Jake chose the opposite of silence.
And yet everyone lived. Marcus is fine. Sophie still has her job. I'd call that a win.
I had to have a follow-up conversation with Marcus the next day where he asked me, sincerely, like genuinely sincerely, if I had any feedback about his management style. Because of my message, he took it as constructive criticism. I had to give him actual, thoughtful feedback. It took 40 minutes. I was not prepared for that meeting.
And there you have it, a single misfire in the company chat, born of one bad suggestion from Jake, spiraled into what was, by the end of the week, described by Marcus in the team newsletter as a refreshing open dialogue with staff. Sophie was mentioned by name, positively.
You're welcome, Sophie.
I want it on record that I am still mortified. The fact that it turned out all right doesn't make it less embarrassing. I still wake up at 3 in the morning and think about that scene tick.
Let's do a quick recap of the vocabulary we picked up today. We had small talk, that light, casual conversation before you get to the real subject. We talked about coming across, the impression you give to others, keeping a straight face, staying serious when you want to react, breaking the ice, removing awkwardness so people can talk freely, being upfront, honest, and direct, even when it's uncomfortable, saving face, protecting your dignity in an embarrassing moment. A catch-up, a friendly but potentially loaded check-in with someone, etiquette, the unwritten rules of behavior in a social or professional setting, and being tactful, choosing your words carefully to avoid causing unnecessary offense. All of them used today in the context of one spectacular Tuesday morning in an open-plan office.
And honestly, and I stand by this, if you ever need to break the ice at work, I'm available for consultations. My success rate is improving.
It is genuinely not, Jake. It is genuinely not improving.
And that is where we leave today's story. One send button, one very small tick, one very large conversation about management communication styles.
If that made you laugh or cringe, or both at the same time, which honestly is the correct reaction, drop us a like. It genuinely helps more people find the show.
And follow us so you never miss another story like this one, trust me. They only get more embarrassing from here.
Subscribe to English Through Stories, new episodes every week, each one with vocabulary you can actually use, in situations you will hopefully never find yourself in.
See you on the next one, and maybe double check who you're sending that message to. Drop us a like.
Hit follow and never miss a story.
Subscribe to English Through Stories. Find us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. See you on the next episode.